Elder, Yang Pan flattered. It is truly an honor for us that the Grand Elder has come. Kungsing replied as he walked. It is also my responsibility as the Grand Elder to find outstanding disciples for the new palace. How could you not come? I wonder what kind of disciples you received this time. Let me take a good look. At this moment, Yang Pan proudly introduced. Recently, I found a disciple. The winner of this East-West Palace competition will undoubtedly be my West Palace. Bai Shuihui was not pleased to hear this. Don't speak too soon. Let's let our disciples show their true skills. As Kungsing announced the start of the competition, suddenly Xu Yihui shouted, "Bai Meng." Yes. Wan Meng nodded and walked over. At this moment, Xu Yihui looked on with a smug expression. Wang Meng is my disciple from the Tianmen tribe, a fifth-level practitioner. Breaking through the 5 barriers is just a matter of time. His current strength makes him one of the best among his senior brothers and sisters. I wonder what kind of disciples your Western Palace has sent. Yang Pan exclaimed. Disciple, it's your turn to take the stage. Yes. Master. Lan Zhao spoke and walked out from the crowd. At this moment, Xu Yihui sneered. Are you crazy? They actually sent a child to the scene. Kungsing also asked in confusion. Elder Yan, is your arrangement appropriate? Yang Pan confidently said after listening. I have absolute confidence in my disciple. As the two entered the scene, Lan Zhao provocatively said, Below, bid thy. Wan Meng immediately glared in anger. You little rascal, watch me crush you with one kick. At that moment, Xu Yihui shouted loudly, Let's begin. You don't need to hold back with each other. Then I'll just stomp this little brat to death. Uh-huh. Wang Ming said this and then lifted his size 69 foot to stomp towards Lan Zhao. Just as Wang Ming was about to step on Lan Zhao, suddenly Lan Zhao reached out a hand and blocked Wang Ming's foot with a snap. At this moment, Wang Ming was greatly shocked. I was unexpectedly blocked. What great strength! But Lan Zhao teased. Can't you put in some effort? Forget it. I won't play with you any more. With a thud, a punch landed on Wan Ming's foot. With a loud bang, he was sent flying out. With a loud bang, it crashed against the wall behind. The onlookers were in shock. The 5 bodies easily defeated in the 9 heavens. Is that person really a child? At this moment, Kungsing looked on and praised. Despite the huge difference in size, he was able to defeat him in one move. Truly remarkable. Princess Yan, what is the name of your disciple? Yang Pan replied after listening. Return to the great elder. My disciple's name is Qin Zhaoyan. He is now at the martial arts realm level. The future is bound to be bright. After listening, Lan Zhao humbly replied, Master, you flatter me. Disciple still needs to strive harder. At this moment, Kungsing stood up and said, Okay, very good. My Blue Star Palace has gained another fierce warrior for the future. But your name reminds me of someone. What is your relationship with Qin Yan, who escaped from the Sky Tower? Yang Pan quickly explained. Great Elder, this should just be a coincidence. Lan Zhao replied, It's not just Qin Yan that concerns me. There is one person you fear the most. Kungsing was immediately startled. What did you say? At this moment, Lan Zhao said fiercely, Repent for your past actions. As he spoke, he gathered strength in his hand. With a loud bang, it hit Kungsing. Kungsing was instantly shattered. At that moment, everyone present was left speechless. As the dust settled, Kungsing said faintly, It's been 300 years, and your skills have diminished. Not eliminating the roots back then was truly a mistake. If you regain all your power and use, that move from earlier, I am either dead or seriously injured. Long time no see. Kungxing chuckled in response. I miss you very much too. Princess Lan Zhao. Both elders were taken aback upon hearing this. He is Lan Zhao. At this moment, Lan Zhao gritted his teeth in anger. You three traitors. Today I will clean up the house here. At that moment, Shu Yihui, covered in cold sweat, shouted, all the disciples of the Star Palace present, quickly capture this person. The crowd immediately began to discuss among themselves. He is indeed the old ancestor Lan Zhao. How can we possibly take action against him? Bai Ting was furious and scolded angrily. All of you are useless. Old ghost, we teamed up to capture him. Good. Yang Pan responded with a sound. The two of them charged toward Lan Zhao in an instant. At this moment, Lan Zhao said disdainfully, Two lackeys dared to take action against me. It lost. With a loud bang, the two were blasted out. The minions have been dealt with. Lan Zhao concentrated energy in his palm and said, Don't waste any more time. Let's settle our grievances in one move. Zaikan Kungxing grinned mischievously. Very good. Let me show you my cultivation over the past 300 years. As soon as the voice fell, the two of them simultaneously released an overwhelming aura. As the two embraced, they charged at each other. Two beams of light shot up into the sky. Suddenly, the entire Star Palace trembled. In the blink of an eye, Qingyan felt the hidden path while forging. An earthquake occurred. Kaimai Lion does not think so. This is the heavenly palace. How could there be an earthquake? I want to go take a look. Qingyan said this and ran outside. In the blink of an eye, Qingyan stood on the roof, gazing at the stars. Is someone fighting over here? Suddenly, he was startled. Someone has come out. A figure appears vaguely in the submerged depths. Lan Zhao escaped injured and said with a breath, Bastard, I really underestimated Kungxing. At that moment, I suddenly saw the clear clouds in front of me. Suddenly, it rushed down and came to his side. Hurry and leave. Come with me. With a swoosh, it pulled Qingyan and flew towards the distance. Looking again at the battlefield at this moment, as the smoke and dust cleared, Kungxing looked flustered and said, Lan Zhao, I'll see where you can escape to. You can't escape my 5-finger mountain. At this moment, in a corner, only heard Lan Zhao say, Let's hide here for a while. At this moment, Qingyan looked at Lang Xiao and asked, Lan Zhao Dachi, what happened to your injury? Lan Zhao turned and comforted. Don't worry. I can't die just yet. King Liadi, how did you end up in the heavenly palace? Qingyan explained. I have now joined the Changong Kai refining pavilion. Lan Zhao, elder brother, how could you? Did you find Kungxing and confront him? Lan Zhao stood up and replied, Yes, I underestimated Kungxing. I didn't expect his cultivation level to have improved so much. Unfortunately, my strength has only recovered to 10%. Otherwise, I would have taken him out long ago. Is your storage ring still on you? The male protagonist crafted a high-quality spiritual weapon. I couldn't resist trying it out and ended up blowing up the Kai training stone. Listening to Lan Zhao's words, Qingyan took out the ring, puzzled. Is this my storage ring? At this moment, Lan Zhao explained. My current aura is too strong. It will definitely be discovered by Kungxing. Healing can only be concealed within your storage ring. As he spoke, he used the technique of phasing. With a whoosh, he entered the storage ring. At this moment, Qingyan looked at the ring and thought, So many elixirs in the storage ring should be able to help Brother Xianxia heal his wounds right. At that moment, two figures suddenly flew by. With a thud, the two landed on the ground. The ones who came were Yang Pan and Shui Yihui. At that moment, Shui Yihui wondered. Strange. That guy's scent was clearly nearby just now. Why did you suddenly disappear? Hearing Yang Pan say with a worried expression, if we can't even capture the severely injured person, from now on, there will be no good fruits to eat from the great elder. Let's split up and search. As the two left. At that moment, King Yan, hiding in the corner of the wall, thought to herself, have you finally left? This place is not suitable for staying long. Let's go back first and talk. Suddenly, Kai Melian asked anxiously, Ian, where have you been? Do you know what happened outside? King Yan explained. I went outside to see what caused the earthquake. It seems that someone is fighting in the distance. Hearing Kymalian continue speaking, someone just came to inform us not to go out casually. There was said to be the strong one harmed the heavenly palace. But the grand elder worshipped and fled. The elders in the heavenly palace are all searching for the person who escaped. King Yan laughed and asked, Great elder, is that the person named Kunxing? Kymalian said with a look of admiration, That's right. Elder Kun possesses profound magical powers. He is the strongest master of our Blue Star Palace. That person isn't good? How dare they fight with Elder Kun? It's truly self-destructive. As soon as the words fell, a voice emerged from King Yan. Stinky girl, what did you say? Next time I will definitely chop Kunxing into pieces. This scared Kymalian so much that her face turned dark. He turned his head and asked, Why is there a child's voice? King Yan awkwardly replied, Where is it? You must be hearing things. Senior sister, I'm a bit tired. Go back to the room and sleep for a while. At this moment, Kymalian covered her face, deeply saddened. Did I really just imagine that? I am going to see the doctor. King Yan stepped out and quietly asked, Brother Lan Zio, can you hear us talking in the ring? Lan Zio replied, Of course I can hear it. I am communicating with you telepathically through your storage ring. The strange person cannot hear. I am seriously injured. If you encounter danger, I may not be able to save you in time. So you need to quickly improve your strength for self-preservation. I will guide you in your cultivation. Now I will teach you how to make high-quality spiritual energy. You are now empty-handed. I need a trusty weapon. Let's first refine a top-grade spirit, Pi Giant Spirit King Hammer. Listening, King Yan exclaimed in surprise, Brother Xiao, I can't believe you can still cultivate Kai. Lan Zio confidently replied, Of course. The Heavenly Palace's Kai Refining Pavilion was established by me. By the way, I will teach you how to cultivate energy, but you must not let outsiders know, including that girl just now. When forging the Giant Spirit King's hammer, there must be no outsiders present. King Yan made a guarantee. Don't worry. I know my limits. The scene shifts to nighttime. King Yan is practicing diligently. As the final hammer fell, King Yan said while holding a hammer, This is the Giant Spirit King's hammer. I wonder how powerful it is. At this moment, Lan Zio introduced. The Giant Spirit King's hammer is a high-grade spiritual weapon. You must only use it in a moment of life and death, using openly what the strong covet. It could instead threaten your own life. King Yan was still immersed in the power of the hammer. Thinking of this, he raised the hammer accompanied by a loud bang. With a thud, it hit the stone platform. Suddenly, a fierce expression crossed his face. It seems like there's no response. Suddenly, the stone platform emitted a cracking sound. A brilliant light burst forth with a bang. With a loud bang, the entire Kai training room was blown apart. At this moment, King Yan was also blasted away, feeling extremely furious. This made Lan Zhao furious, and he cursed. "Pooh! I haven't transmitted to you the mental technique for using the giant spirit king hammer. How can you use it casually? I'm sorry." In the blink of an eye, King Yan returned to her residence. At that moment, Kai Malian, who was sound asleep, suddenly startled awake. As soon as he saw King Yan, she was left wearing only a pair of underwear. Kai Man Lion's face turned red with shyness. "Yan, what do you intend to do while you're naked?" "I am not ready yet." At this moment, King Yan awkwardly explained. "Senior sister, you misunderstood. I accidentally burned my clothes while practicing. Senior sister, can you help me borrow a piece of clothing?" Hearing this, Kai Malian was instantly taken aback. "Can cultivation burn clothes?" He said helplessly. "All right. I'll go get you a new outfit tomorrow." "Thank you, senior sister." What did Zhao Yume say? It made the male lead so furious. The next day arrived in the blink of an eye. King Yun changed into a new outfit. Looking at Kai Malian's pained expression, "I spent 5,000 gold coins on this, obtained from the reserves of the heavenly palace. Those people are all unscrupulous merchants." At that moment, Wu Tianxing walked in and asked, "Everyone is up. Did you know that the refining pavilion was destroyed last night?" Kai Malian was immediately startled and asked. "The forging pavilion was bombed. Who did it?" "Daring to act recklessly in the heavenly palace." At this moment Wu Tianxing analyzed. "Yesterday, a powerful individual attacked Elder Kongxing at the battle hall. After being chased by the Grand Elder, they disappeared without a trace. I suspect this person is still hiding in the heavenly palace. It should be this person who blew up the refining pavilion. I wonder if you heard any noise last night?" Tingba King Yun replied with an embarrassed look. "With our skills, how could we possibly hear the movements of a strong person?" Wu Tianxing immediately agreed. Also, that powerful individual possessed strength comparable to the Grand Elder. How could you possibly discover it? He then said again, "By the way, King Yan, a person named Zhao Yume wants to see you." King Yan exclaimed in surprise. "Zhao Yume, did she also come to the heavenly palace?" The scene shifts, and all that can be heard is Zhao Yume exclaiming, "Well, King Yan, I can't find you anywhere below. I only found out from the person in charge of the refining tools pavilion that you were taken to the heavenly palace. How could you be chosen by the heavenly palace's refining pavilion when you clearly can't refine tools?" It's truly amazing. King Yan immediately sensed the atmosphere. "You left me alone to sweep the floor at the refining pavilion. Why are you thinking of me again now?" Zhao Yume replied with an awkward smile. "I'm sorry. Sorry. I was dealing with something important at that time. So I forgot you. I came to see you today precisely for that important matter." "What is it?" "I found the place where my sister is being held." Upon hearing this, King Yan rushed forward and anxiously asked, "The place where Yu Lan is imprisoned. Quickly tell me, where is she locked up?" Zhao Yume pushed open the door and said to King Yan, "Hello, don't get too excited. My sister is currently locked up in Tanqi Realm. We quickly go to save her." Heavenly wonder! King Yan was taken aback and immediately asked, "But it seems you and your sister don't get along. Why would I want to save her? What is your purpose?" "Listen," Zhao Yume praised. "Truly clever. I need something very important from the heavenly miraculous realm." So we need to find a strong person to accompany us. By then, you can also rescue my sister. Let's take what we need." Xianxia sighed and replied helplessly, "I knew you weren't that kind-hearted. All right, I will go with you." Suddenly, Xianxia spoke. "Master, I need to go to the Xianxia Empire to take care of some matters." Details about a 2-month vacation. Xianxia Empire. Wu Tangxing was immediately taken aback. "It's far away from here. What do you want to do? Do you need help from the master?" Xianxia clasped her fists and bowed. "Disciple thanks master. I was just going to rescue a friend. There's no need to trouble the master just yet. The disciple can handle it." Wu Tangxing replied helplessly, "All right. Be careful on your way." As soon as the words fell, she rushed over with a sorrowful expression on her beautiful face. "Yan, the woman who came to find you today is clearly not a good person. Yan, you must be careful." King comforted. "Don't worry, senior sister. I will be careful of that woman." In the blink of an eye, King said, "I have taken a good vacation. Let's go." At that moment, Xiao Yume shyly said, "By the way, King I offended Prince Kaiyu while investigating the heavenly miraculous realm. He is likely to ambush us on the road. You need to be careful then." King Yan was instantly at a loss for words. Suddenly he shouted in anger, "You came to me looking for a bodyguard because you offended someone, didn't you? If you have anything else, hurry up and tell me. It's good to prepare myself mentally." Xiao Yume comforted Anwei. "Don't be angry. It's my fault. At worst, when I get the love soul technique, I'll make a copy for you." King Yan immediately felt a wave of confusion. What is the love soul formula? At that moment, Lan Xiao reminded. "Quickly agree to him. The soul bonding technique is very important. You must get it in your hands." "Listen," King Yan whispers to herself. "Even someone as powerful as Big Brother values this. It must be something extraordinary." Xiao Yume looked at him in astonishment and asked, "What Big Brother? Who are you talking to?" King Yan was suddenly caught off guard and replied with a smile, Sai, not available. You must have heard it wrong. How powerful is the old man coming to save the male lead?" The sudden move startled the blue-haired beauty, making her break out in a cold sweat. The scene shifts. The weather is calm in the northeast direction of the Blue Star Palace, about 3,000 miles apart. "We can arrive in about a month." King Yan complained upon hearing this. "It's so far away." King Yan complained upon hearing this. "Why did they have to imprison Yulin so far away?" "Listen," Xiao Yume replied. "Of course, I need to use the love soul technique on my sister." "What?" "My sister swore she would rather die than marry King Yan." King Yan complained upon hearing this. King Yan complained. "King Yan took my sister to a calm place. After attempting to use the love soul formula to change my sister's thinking, willingly marry her." King Yan heard this and scolded in a tense atmosphere. "That bastard Qin Feng. I will definitely teach you a good lesson in the future. By the way, how did you offend the Weather Prince Kaiyu? Aren't your Xianxia Empire and Weather Empire usually on good terms?" Bai Tingji Ha Xiao Yu Mei Dan Shi Tingle Zelai. He turned his head abruptly, his face filled with anger. "Don't mention that bastard in front of me." I killed the person Kaiyu sent to propose to me. So he sent skilled fighters to bring me back. I can only go to the Comweather to seek the love soul technique to enhance my strength. That guy is not that smart. Dare to propose to me? And my half-brother, Xiao Yanglong. You actually sold me to Kaiyu in exchange for the weather chamber to build a city. Wait until I master the soul of love technique. I will tear them both to shreds." Ugh. At this moment, King Yan looked at Zhao Yuemei with only one thought in her heart. She is truly a terrifying woman. At that moment, Lan Zhao suddenly reminded King Yan. A wave of killing intent flew over. You need to be careful. A strong killing intent. It should be close to the level of the 5 mirrors. You all hurry and hide. I am currently in a crucial healing period. I cannot protect you. As soon as the voice faded, a figure swiftly dashed through the air. At this moment, King Yan feels the secret passage. I'm afraid it's too late to hide. Already here. With a loud thud it landed. A beautiful woman in yellow with blue hair appeared. At that moment, Zhao Yuemei asked warily, "Who are you? Is this a lackey of Caillou?" The blue-haired beauty looked back with a wicked smile. "Miss Zhao Yuemei, can I go back with you? Lord Caillou misses you very much." "I want to take you away," Zhao Yuemei replied disdainfully. "Let's see if you have the ability for this." At that moment, King Yan hurriedly reminded, "Don't act impulsively. That person's cultivation is about to reach the 5-path mirror." "What?" Zhao Yuemei exclaimed in surprise. "Wu Jing. Can you see her cultivation level?" The blue-haired beauty pointed with her finger. "You have sharp eyes, kid. I'll make sure you die a quick death soon. Lord Caillou does not wish to see Miss Yuemei with other men." At that moment, Zhao Yuemei still looked disdainful. "What about the 5 mirrors? Do you dare to kill me? As long as you are hesitant and afraid to kill me, we can wear you out day and night." "Is that so?" The blue-haired beauty smirked mischievously. With a bang, Zhao Yuemei's body was enveloped by water. At this moment, Zhao Yuemei looked on in shock. This is water prison tree. In the blink of an eye, a water balloon enveloped Zhao Yuemei. At this moment, the blue-haired beauty comforted. "Don't worry. In this water prison, there is air, so you won't suffocate." "Oh no." Kin Yun quickly flew forward. Meanwhile, the blue-haired beauty extended her finger. A splash of water attacked Kin Yun. With a loud bang, the attack struck Kin Yun. At this moment, Lan Zhao reminded, "Kin Yun, it seems my problem is more than just an injury. I need to retreat and recuperate for a long time. Unless absolutely necessary, don't call me out easily." "Listen." Kin Yun had a fierce expression. "Seclusion. Is it appropriate for you to retreat at such a critical time?" "Suitable." Lan Zhao revealed a charming smile. "You talk too much." The blue-haired beauty said this and launched another attack at Kin Yun. Suddenly, streams of water droplets rushed in front of Kin Yun. "Kin Yun, be careful." Suddenly, an old man appeared in front of Kin Yun and extended his hand to unleash his technique. As the rumbling sounds continued to echo, blocked the attack from the blue-haired beauty. At that moment, Kin Yun and Zhao Yuemei exclaimed in astonishment, "Isn't that someone from Hualin Martial Arts Academy?" Seeing their attack blocked, the blue-haired beauty's heart raced. Not good. This old man effortlessly deflected my lethal strike with one hand. Perhaps even more formidable than the elder of Kungsing. Kin Yun actually has such a powerful backing. Let's go back and report first. Kin Yun, consider yourself lucky. With a wave of his hand, the water balloon burst with a bang. Zhao Yuemei was also released. Zhao Yuemei lay unconscious on the ground. Kin Yun hurriedly stepped forward to take a look. Wait a moment. How amazing the male protagonist is. The senior sister, Kymalian, who I spent every day with, turned out to be Princess Xianxia. Suddenly, the old man grabbed my arm. Kin Yun was taken aback and said, "I haven't thanked you yet." May I ask who you are?" The old man revealed a kind smile. "I'm your great-grandfather. This person is Grandpa Kinyan." In contrast, Kinyan replied awkwardly at this moment, "Uncle, don't joke around. My great-grandfather, his name is Qin Xingchen. He was also one of the earliest emperors of the Qin dynasty. Died at the age of 37. You take a look. What is this?" Qin Yang said as he took out a piece of animal hide. Qin Yan took a look and exclaimed in surprise, "This beast's skin comes from a very powerful demon beast. The animal skin has been specially processed. Very not simple, invulnerable to blades and bullets. Water and fire cannot be mixed. Then what? There are traces of cutting. It should have been cut from a large square piece of beast's skin. This hide is made up of several pieces stitched together. There are traces of spiritual patterns carved at the incision. What on earth is this? The quality of the animal hide is exceptionally high. I can't carve spiritual patterns on it with a chisel at all." Hearing Qin Yang praise, "You are practicing a technique in the energy pattern. He truly is a genius. To be honest with you, this is a fragment of a map that—" "What map?" Qin Yan was taken aback. "Using such expensive and precious materials to make this. The surface is snow white with no traces of painting. It should have been hidden using special means." At this moment Qin Yang spoke with a feigned tone. "The map is engraved with dark patterns. I still can't figure it out. I have had the map for over 10 years. It was your father, the emperor, who brought it to me." Qin Yan exclaimed excitedly, "You are truly my great-grandfather." Qin Yan continued speaking. "I ventured into the Yulong mountain range early on. Almost died. Trapped for decades. Later, the old president of Huailing Martial Arts Academy passed by and left. Trained me to become the new director, because by then I had entered the realm of martial arts. No longer attached to imperial power. Just focus on your cultivation here. Did not return to the palace. So they also changed their name." After listening to Qin Yan, he felt a surge of pressure in his heart. "Why didn't you say it earlier? It turns out I have a great-granduncle as my support at the academy. Your father studied at the Huailing Martial Arts Academy back then. Just recognize me. He promised me not to announce it publicly. During the breakthrough to the martial arts realm, he became obsessed, severely injured." Qin Yun was momentarily lost in thought. "No wonder he has never been able to pay attention to me. It turns out he can't even save himself. Where is father? Are you feeling better?" Qin Yang explained. "He is currently in seclusion to heal. I'm not sure if it can be restored. Just understanding him is enough. The incident when you were dismissed back then, it also caused him great pain. It only worsened his injuries." Here, Qin Yan looked at the map and asked, "Great-grandfather, you want to give me this map fragment. Is that so?" Qin Yang explained, "This has always belonged to you. Your mother was once in this situation because of this beast's skin, meeting your father, the emperor, but also died because of this. This map is called the Zhang Zian too, as the meteor fell beside a small mountain village. At that time, it was divided into. Your mother and 3 other women are washing clothes by the river. They each received a card. After the meteor falls, attract the attention of the 3 great empires. They immediately sent someone to the small mountain village. Your mother met your father at that time, and love at first sight. At that time, your father was still the crown prince. He disregarded the opposition of many, married your mother, 2 women who obtained other fragments of the grave immortal map. They were also taken away by the princes of the Xianxia Empire and the Xianxia Empire. It is now the emperors of the two nations. The women of the Xianxia Empire have good fates, became the noble consort, but similar to your mother, died a few years after giving birth. Among them, the woman heading to the Xianxia Empire, not very lucky, served as a maid in the palace, died shortly after giving birth. Qin Yan asked with confusion, "What about the other woman?" Qin Yan explained, "It is your female tutor." At this moment, Qin Yan looked worried. "Will the Grand Master also be cursed to death?" Qin Yan shook his head and replied, "This is not the case. She is an outlier, not cursed, but it seems to have been affected to some extent. They were just taken advantage of by that group of people. Frame her for practicing dark arts. Then there was comfort. She will be fine. After all, she even avoided the curse. Now we should just hide and recuperate. You can rest assured." At that moment, Qin Yan asked again, "Great-grandfather, do I need to find the other three animal skins?" Qin Yan affirmed, "Yes, the woman who went to the Xianxia Empire. She is the mother of Xiao Yuelan and Xiao Yuemei. A girl went to the Xianxia Empire to become a maid, had an affair with Emperor Xianxia and gave birth to Kaima Lion. Her beast skin, it has long been secretly entrusted to me." I thought, what does it mean to be a senior sister? Qin Yan was immediately taken aback. The male lead gave Xiao Yuemei a potion to enchant her. It made her little face blush, feeling extremely shy. Qin Yan pointed out again, "It's a pity that a little girl keeps thinking about you. Can't you recognize me?" Okay, I understand, boohoo. I am very proud to have such a great grandson like you. It's all up to you now. I am going to explore the Yulong mountain range." At this moment, Qin Yan asked sorrowfully, "Great-grandfather, are you leaving?" Suddenly, he changed his expression and asked, "By the way, great-grandfather, you have been the director for so many years, definitely oozing with grease. Do you have anything else to give me?" "Listen." Qin Yang laughed heartily. Don't worry. I still have something for you." Holding it, saying this, they threw it to Qin Yan. A storage bag. At this moment, Qin Yan thought to himself, 50 purple coins, equivalent to 50,000 gold coins. Even a mosquito's leg is meat, better than nothing. At this moment, Qin Yang introduced again, "In the beginning of heaven and earth, the 9 wheels must rise to meet the sun, high above the heavens. Birth of the 9 yang spirit energy, encountering all things. Only then did we form our Jiayang land. The old director once said, if one peeks into the secret of Jiayang, you can obtain the power of Jiayang. Of course, with my current strength, I can't even dare to think. Now we are in the edge of the 9 wastes in Jiayang Daddy. Spiritual energy and resources are very scarce, because the environment restricts our improvement. So we must pass through the treacherous Yulong mountain range, heading to the 5 wastelands, that is a land of prosperity and abundance." After listening, Qin Yan asked with concern, "Great-grandfather, be careful in the Yulong mountain range." Qin Yan heard his punch. He laughed as he hit Qin Yan on the head. "Your great-grandfather has enough strength. Don't worry. Malian is quite a good child. Do you want to help Xiao Yuelan? Now I'm not on the road with Xiao Yu again. Be careful of being called a scumbag." Qin Yan listened at this moment. It's a helpless bunch thinking to themselves, "What can I do about it?" The scene shifts. At this moment, inside a dilapidated house, Qin Yun poked Zhao Yume with a branch and called out, "Hello, wake up." Woke up. I took a break and ended up sleeping until now. Zhao Yume sat up. Rubbing his sleepy eyes, he asked, "Aunt, it smells so good. Have you eaten?" Qin Yan teased upon hearing that. "Who is your aunt?" "I am your brother, Qin Yan." At this moment, Zhao Yume realized. I raised my fist and struck. "Dog fart, big brother." Suddenly, there was a loud bang. Qin Yan took over and said seriously, "Don't make a fuss. The soup will spill." This made Zhao Yume's little face instantly blush. "The result is a fragrant soup. You suddenly being so serious startled me." As Zhao Yume took a sip, suddenly I felt as if I were floating in the air, gasping in amazement. "So delicious soup. I didn't expect you to have this skill." "Listen," Qin Yan replied nonchalantly. "Yeah, I never expected the first woman to eat the food I cooked would be you." Biting her lip, Zhao Yume shyly turned her head and murmured, "You're thinking differently from me." Qin Yan listened and asked in confusion, what did you say?" Zhao Yume hurriedly spoke seriously, rambling on. "I said, the Xianxia Empire relied on the Yunlong mountain range, northwest slightly towards the west. Xianxia is right there. I don't know if there are any spirits or monsters there." Listening, Qin Yan asked with doubt, did you just say so much?" Zhao Yume quickly changed the subject and said, "Do you know, my aunt is very good at reading. Aunt faced immense pressure back then. Not married off. Now if she sees me eating the food you made, traveling the road alone with you, it should be very furious." Listen, Qin Yan laughed heartily. "Is your aunt named Zhao Xuanqin? She has been single for so many years. The temper must be quite bad." This was also said to make Zhao Yume laugh. "Don't say that in front of her. Otherwise she will definitely beat you up badly." In the blink of an eye, the two were on their way. Zhao Yume introduced Qin Yan, soul-refining madman. It was a powerful villain from many years ago. It is said that one has mastered demonic skills, mastering the blood technique to transfer others' soul weapons, and can also extract others' martial souls. To enhance one's martial soul, according to the historical records of the three empires, soul-refining madmen, utterly wicked, executed by torture, but the Weather Empire kept it alive for so long, clearly wanting to force this madman to hand over the soul-refining technique. Listen, Qin Yan agree. I heard teacher Yang say, there are some peculiar drugs. Eating what can cure the illness. Say whatever you want. The rest may master this elixir. I want the soul-taming maniac to speak about the soul-taming technique." At that moment, Zhao Yume listened with a worried expression. "I don't know how my sister is doing. This damn guy won't." At this moment, Qin Yan reminded, "First, find a location. We just looked down from above. There were no small hills or buildings in sight. There was only a vast expanse of forest. So I guess that should be an underground palace." Zhao Yume echoed, "Yes, what you said." Before he finished speaking, Qin Yan suddenly exclaimed, "We have been discovered." Continue the conversation, just as the two male leads were discovered. But Qin Yan and the other person spoke as they quietly fled into the distance. In the blink of an eye, the two arrived beside a stone house. At that moment, both of them looked at each other in shock and exclaimed, "The rest of the ants." Meanwhile, Zhao Xuanqin over here also discovered. They questioned, "You Mei, what are you doing here? Who is this man?" The rest exclaimed in shock, "Quickly capture Qin Yan." Upon hearing this, Xiao Yume hurriedly stood in front of Qin Yun and shouted forcefully, "What gives you the right to take him down?" At this moment, Xiao Xuanqin reminded, "Yume, your sister, is safe and sound now. Why are you with him? Wait a moment. You have the aura of strength and vitality. You have entered the realm of 5 bodies and 7 layers." After listening, Xiao Yume replied, "That's right. Helped me break through on the way with Qin Yun. And don't lay a hand on Qin Yun." As Xiao Xuanqin extended her hand to unleash her technique, "I won't lay a hand on him. Then I can take action against you right." Just as the attack was about to reach Xiao Yume, suddenly Qin Yun flashed and appeared in front of Xiao Yume, casting a few runes with a swish, as the rumbling sound continued to echo. At this moment, the attacks from both sides surprisingly cancelled each other out. At this moment, Kaiyu looked at Qin Yun, clenching his fist in anger. "Qin Yun, you actually came here to die for a woman. Xiao Yanglong hates you so much. Kill you. He will definitely be very happy." At this moment, Xiao Yume, who was imprisoned, threatened, "Kaiyu, if you make a move against Qin Yun, I will definitely take revenge." Kaiyu instantly broke out in a cold sweat, shocked. Xiao Yume entered the 5th level at a young age. This potential is as terrifying as Xiao Yulan. It is highly likely to enter the 5 mirrors around the age of 20. There aren't many 5-dimensional mirrors in the Xianxia royal family either. If faced with the revenge of the 5 mirrors, that could lead to the destruction of the nation. At this moment, Xiao Yume angrily shouted at Xiao Xuanqin, "And how could you be with that scoundrel Kaiyu? I misjudged you. I never want to deal with you again." Hearing Xiao Yume show such concern for Qin Yun, Xiao Xuanqin reached out and unleashed her archery technique to attack Qin Yun. With a bang, Qin Yun was thrown directly into the stone chamber. Qin Yun and Xiao Yume were immediately startled. At this moment, Kaiyu left the national highway. "He was locked inside our weather-forbidden zone. Only my father, the emperor, can release him. If you want to save him, go find my father, the emperor." Xiao Yume was furious at this moment. "Xiao Xuanqin, get out of here. I never want to see you again." But in my heart I was thinking, "I can't take on the people here by myself. Let's leave first." At that moment Xiao Xuanqin chased after Kaiyu, saying, "You saw it too. Now I rashly took action and sent Qin Yun into the forbidden area. Yume is angry now. You always listened to me the most since we were little. But this time, I need to quickly take him back to the Xianxia Empire and find someone to watch over him." As the two left, Kaiyu suddenly turned his head, his face filled with anger as he gritted his teeth. "I am also hated by him now. It's all Qin Yun's fault. The temporary stay of Xiao Yulan is merely a pretext for me to obtain the soul refinement technique. Now Qin Yun has been cast into the forbidden ground. The soul refining madman won't cooperate with us if there's someone else around." A figure in a black robe replied, "This isn't a bad thing either. Qin Yun would never be able to come out again. Qin Yun poses a significant threat to us. He was valued by the Hall of Curiosities. Rely on the Hall of Wonders in the future. It can stir up quite a storm." Hearing this, he could only helplessly say, "The soul refining maniac has been locked inside for over 200 years. Tormented by loneliness, it could have compromised with us. Hand over the soul refining technique. Now someone is going in to relieve boredom. The plan is likely not going to work." The scene shifts to a courtyard. Xiao Yanglong was seen pacing back and forth. When he saw Xianxia walking over, he thought to himself, If it weren't for Xianxia's talent, I will forcefully hold a grand wedding, Zhu Tadao's journey." At this moment, Xianxia coldly asked while crossing her arms. "What is it?" Xiao Yanlong explained. "Yu Mei has gone missing. I know you are close with her. Now she has fallen out with her aunt. This matter is very serious. It's not just a little tantrum like before. Kinyan was cast into the forbidden land of weather. Yu Mei was angry about this matter. Aren't you worried she might do something else?" Upon hearing this, Yang Shi was taken aback. He asked dismissively, "Kinyan has already fallen to such a state. Why are they so stubbornly entangled? Speak and then turn away." At this moment, Zhao Yanglong looked at the departing Yang Shi with mixed feelings. "Kinyan, how dare you touch the people around me? It's good that you were cast into the weather-forbidden land. Otherwise, I will make you wish you were dead." Kinyan sat on a stone bed, lost in thought. "This is mine. Where are you?" "I only remember that the house had a very deep vertical passage. I was hit and flew directly in. Suddenly I thought of something and exclaimed, 'Am I in a weather-forbidden zone?' At that moment an old woman came over and said, 'Little one, you are indeed in the forbidden zone of the weather. I never expected this. The soul-refining maniac that people speak of turns out to be such a beauty.' As soon as Kinyan saw the person, he was startled. 'Old grandma, how did you end up here?' The old woman explained, 'I am the unforgivable soul-refining maniac. I once obtained powerful martial souls from many people in the Weather Empire, but they are ungrateful. After my husband passed away, you're forcing me to hand over the soul-refining technique. I absolutely refuse. They locked me up in here, listening to Kinyan's thoughts. I didn't expect that. The legendary soul alchemist. It's an old grandmother." Then introduced. "Grandmother, my name is Kinyan. He is a prince of the Xianxia Empire, originally the crown prince, but was harmed by treacherous officials, deposed from the position of crown prince. 4 spirit veins were also extracted. But they keep targeting me. It will definitely ruin me. Fate's destruction. Conflict with others. I was thrown in here." Suddenly looked at himself in astonishment. "I was injured by a master of the 9 layers of nothingness. How is it now?" At that moment the old woman explained to Kinyan, "I have healed your wounds. The spirit on you is very interesting, but there were also significant problems. You can fall into here. It can also be a blessing in disguise. These guys are really silly. Unexpectedly drew upon someone else's spiritual vein." "How old were you at that time?" Kinyan recalled. 10 years old. It's all in the past now. I'm doing quite well right now. There is also the cultivation of the formless sixfold." At that moment the old woman said with a gloomy expression, "You must remember the one who took your spirit vein. Then take them out one by one. Such villains must not be left unchecked." At this moment Kinyan asked with a look of disappointment, "Grandmother, I heard you can extract someone else's martial soul. Is this true?" The old woman replied with a cheerful laugh, "I only use unclaimed martial souls or beast souls. I never extract martial souls from strangers, unless they are evil people. I was one of the 4 consorts of the Xianxia Empire. The emperor has passed away. The queen fears that I will vie for power, kill my 2 sons, force me to hand over the soul refinement technique. If my son hadn't died, I might cooperate with them." At this moment, Kinyan was astonished and thought, "In the history of the Xianxia Empire, there is indeed such a segment. Kaio Ruwen, one of the 4 consorts, conspiring with my son for status. So they were all executed. No one knows. The soul-refining madman and this consort. It turns out to be the same person. At this moment, Kaio Ruiwin continued speaking. I keep the soul active through soul-refining techniques. The soul weapon never fades. You can live a long time. But Xiao Yun, your martial soul condition is very special. You should know this yourself, right? Listening to the great Qin Yunmo boxing way. Currently, my martial soul is fully concentrated in my arm. If my arm gets cut off in the future, Grandma Kaio, can you help me move the martial soul and inner source back to the Danshin? Upon hearing this, Kaio Ruiwin was taken aback. What is the purpose of moving to the Danshin? I plan to move your and inner source to the heart. The sleeping flame martial spirit remains on the left arm. Qin Yun asked in surprise. Why not move back to the Danshin? Kaio Ruiwin explained. Do not move back to the Danshin. That is meant to be kept for the third spirit soul to reside in. This is an excellent spot to absorb the third spirit soul. You'll know later. Qin Yun was excited upon hearing this. Can it really be done? Shocking martial soul moved to the heart. The heart is the vital point. There is internal source protection against shocks. It won't be so easy to get hurt. At this moment, Kaio Ruiwin instructed. You lie down, accompanying Grandma. In this process, you also need your own consciousness to control the martial soul. As Qin Yun laid down, Kaio Ruiwin reached out and began to control, while advising, the internal source of the tremor is already within your fiery essence. Now we need to rush out. It might be a little painful. You can hold on, no matter what. None of them can let the internal oscillation run back. Qin Yun immediately gritted his teeth and nodded vigorously in response. With a painful cry from Qin Yun. At this moment, Kaio Ruiwin comforted him. Endure. It will be ready soon. As Qin Yun endured the excruciating pain, he asked, Grandma Kaio, my inner fire is now asleep. Is it necessary to integrate a powerful martial spirit? Only then can it awaken. Kaio Ruiwin affirmed. Yes. Moreover, this martial soul must be strong. If you're not strong enough, it will destroy your fire martial soul and fire inner source. It's good that you met me. Otherwise, you'll recklessly search for a martial soul. The consequences are very serious. If you haven't cultivated the Xuan-Huing Heart Sutra, I can't help you move like this. Only the Xuan-Huing Heart Sutra can withstand the internal shock. Even an ordinary Heart Sutra cannot bear it. It will definitely be torn apart. Hearing this, Qin Yun felt delighted. The heart is the hub for energy circulation within the body. Integrate into the internal source of the shock. It means that the internal force of the shock can reach all parts of the body in an instant. Protect the body. Thank you, Grandma Kaio. He then asked again, Grandma Kaio, what force is holding you back from going out? The male protagonist has learned to be clever this time. The rain is filled with many good things. Hearing Qin Yun's confusion, Kaio Ruiwin explained, there is a very powerful formation here. Release a barrier. Wrap the entire underground palace. Can only come in from the outside. Unable to go out from the inside. Hearing Qin Yun reach out to touch the stone wall, he thought, try infusing the power of the primordial spirit. Uncertain how much time has passed. As the trial ended, at this moment, Qin Yun thought, let the primordial spirit seep out, but did not succeed. This place is much sturdier than the Sky Tower. At this moment, Kaio Ruiwin introduced, Xiao Yun, I have been here for over 200 years. Familiar with the underground palace. There are 109 stones below. The largest one is an octagon. then 36 square stones. It's also quite big. The other 72 stones are round, relatively small. Listen as Qin analyzes it. Grandma Kaio, have you always been able to smoothly absorb spiritual energy? The spiritual energy here is close to the essence of inner energy, and very precise. The boundary must be maintained very strongly. It inherently requires a significant amount of energy, so there will definitely be a large energy gathering formation used to gather the surrounding spiritual energy. I suspect this energy gathering formation connects to every large tree outside, gathered through the big tree. At this moment, Kaio Ruwen asked in confusion, Sayo Yun, you seem to know quite a bit about formations. Listen to a tale from Qin Yun. Grandma Kaio, I am just a junior weather master. The weather recently has a significant drawback. It was when the gathering Kai formation was supplying energy to the barrier. Also pour a large amount of spiritual energy into the underground palace. In the blink of an eye, the two arrived at a current affairs event, and Qin Yun said, just as I expected, the spiritual energy here is the thinnest. This is also the weak point of the barrier. Hearing this, Kaio Ruwen asked in confusion, so 32 square current events and 72 circular current events, what are the uses? Qin Yun's small classroom begins. Those events are built with enormous spiritual stones. The spirit script is carved on the outside. Among them, 32 square issues are quite significant. All carved formations gather spiritual energy. The 72 circular events are responsible for releasing the barrier's power, cover the entire underground palace. Kaio Ruwen shook his head helplessly. I have attacked every current event. It doesn't have any effect. The stone bricks are not only very strong, and it can also absorb energy. Qin Yun swung the large hammer. It's time to try the Giant Spirit King's hammer. He suddenly lifted the Giant Spirit King's hammer and unleashed the Dragon Breaker 60 strikes. Smashed against the stone wall. Unexpectedly, there was not a hint of reaction. Kaio Ruwen said while looking over here, that's how it is. No matter how much strength is used, always being absorbed. Don't rush into this matter. Bai is a master of strange texts. Then, learning the soul refinement technique is the best. I have no descendants. You are a very good child. Once again, it's the master of strange literature. He is the best candidate. Hearing this, Qin Yun exclaimed excitedly, Thank you, Grandma. I am truly honored. Grandma, you must not have eaten anything good for a long time. Here, I have this. He then took out a table full of delicacies from his storage ring. A few days later, two people sat on chairs eating fruit. Kaio Ruwen said while, Sayo Yun, thanks to you, there is wood in your storage space. That's why it's so comfortable. Now you have all the techniques for soul refining. If I could go outside, I'll take you to drink the soul and stir the wind. Qin Yun asked in confusion, Yin Han Xingfeng, what kind of place is that? Kaio Ruwen explained, that is the mysterious place built by Wang, Giant of the Blue Sky. There is a large formation on the mountain peak. As long as the grand formation is activated, this can introduce a new martial soul. The new martial soul, although the weakest among the heavenly bestowed martial souls, however, there is a good chance of obtaining it. Your fire martial soul is currently dormant. Only by integrating the heavenly gift martial soul, only then can it be awakened. Qin Yun asked excitedly, Where does the soul beverage stir the winds? Kaio Ruwen replied faintly, In the Yunlong mountain range. True north. There is a north star over there. Near the Yinan Xingfeng, there is a marsh. when I saw that swamp, waiting for the northern star to appear. Then you will know which mountain is Yin'an Xingfeng. Xiao Yan, you seem eager to go out. You said you have many enemies outside. You should hide first. Qin Yan explained. My mother arranged a marriage contract for me with the princess of the Xianxia Empire when I was young. After I was murdered, the Xianxia Empire decided to marry the princess to the new crown prince. The engagement ceremony will be held in about 2 to 3 months. I must go. At this moment, Caio Ruin suggested, if I could go outside, immediately go to stir the spirits, integrate a new martial soul. It will definitely enhance your abilities. Maybe I can step into the 5 bodies and 7 levels. But unless all the energy required for the barrier is exhausted, only then is it possible to go out. That's right. Qin Yan suddenly thought of something. What is the male lead trying to do? Is the hero ready or not? After hearing Caio Ruin's words, Qin Yan was taken aback. Yeah, just consume the energy needed to break the barrier. We will steal the energy needed for the barrier, as long as it causes an imbalance in the underground palace. Then I can find the opportunity to go out. He quickly found a few stone slabs and said, these stone tablets are part of the Jiayang Giant Spirit Array. I want to use the Jiayang Giant Spirit Formation, stealing the energy of the barrier. This is the hub. It is a place that controls the orderly flow of energy. This chaos. There's a chance to go out. Speaking, they began to manipulate the formation to absorb the barrier's energy. As energy continues to be consumed, the underground palace suddenly became unstable. Over here, Qin Yan looked at it in astonishment. The underground palace is about to collapse. There must be patrols from the Tianqi Empire nearby. They will be coming soon. At that moment, Caio Ruin struck the ground forcefully with his cane, instantly formed a protective shield, and said, this is my charm concentrated protective shield. Soon I can only unleash the ancient forbidden technique of Lan Xiao Leiazu. This can attract meteorites to fall, but the cost after casting is huge. It takes time to heal, as Caio Ruin unleashed the forbidden technique. At this moment, Qin Yan thought to himself, since the appearance of the Blue Star Palace, meteors occasionally fall. It's just not as big as this time. Everyone would think this is a coincidence. Grandma Caio truly puts in a lot of effort. This way, the Tianqi kingdom won't chase us anymore. Suddenly, Qin Yan struck out with a powerful palm. The underground palace was instantly breached. At that moment, Caio Ruin suddenly pulled Qin Yundao. Hurry up! This is about to collapse soon. I can hardly hold on any longer. As the two left, at this moment, Qin Yan felt a surge of fear. This forbidden technique is truly terrifying. It's simply a natural disaster. First, go to a high peak. Grandma Caio needs to retreat and rest. Not sure how much time has passed. Only Qin Yan shouted during the handover, Grandma Caio, you're awake. At this moment, Caio Ruin comforted. Grandma is fine. I just need to take a break for a while. I'm very happy to see Jiayang again. If it has recovered well, let's head to Wuhuang. In those years, all of my enemies in Tianqi are already dead. I have no lingering attachments here anymore. Xiao Yan, you have to go and stir up the hidden spirits yourself. As the scene shifts, Qin Yan thinks to himself while on his way, I hope the hidden soul wind can truly grant me a divine martial soul. Suddenly, the sound of barking dogs came through. He was startled. At this moment, Qin Yan hurriedly hid. At that moment, 3 people rode over on their mounts. The masked man simply said, Was that your dog barking just now? Is there any discovery? Everyone's dogs are nearby. Is it only a dog that has discovered this? The bald man awkwardly explained. Maybe my dog barked too much. But the scarred man said cautiously, it's always good to be careful. What we are guarding now is top-quality zero iron ore. So much has been mined out. It is a critical moment. The masked man complained. The West Palace is truly something. Hundreds of slaves have died. Why haven't they sent the slaves yet? Extracting so much zero iron ore. They don't send anyone over to pick it up either. It just keeps piling up there, taking up space. Must be very careful in watching over. At this moment, Kinyan, who was hiding, felt a surge of fear. There is actually top-quality zero iron ore here. Zero iron ore requires very simple refining. You can get zero iron. The zero iron mine is very important, let alone the top-quality zero iron ore. These people are like 5 bodies and 5 insects. It shouldn't be too difficult. Let's follow them for a bit. The scene shifts to the noisy mining site. Give me work. Damn useless waste. Woo-woo, I'm betting you stop hitting me. Over here, Kinyan clenched his teeth and felt the tense atmosphere. This group of beasts in the West Palace. They actually brought the children of the slaves here. There are only 3 types of 5-body 6 forms over there. They are all old men. They have 3 very cozy little cottages. Okay, it all started with them. In the blink of an eye, Kinyan changed into a night outfit. Holding the feather duster, I pondered. This time, we need to strip off 36 souls. The binding rune can create a binding garment. It is also relatively easy to make, sufficient to deal with the overseer, dealing with the people on the tower, a hypnotic garment made from sleep patterns. If the mental strength is not strong enough, after being hypnotized, then you will fall asleep instantly. In a little over an hour, day is about to break. I need to deal with them before dawn. Just as Kinyan arrived at the window of a small house, a voice came from inside the house. No more houses. 2 people are in the house. My spoke to the girl in front of her. Don't be so meticulous. Come, let's drink this cup. Okay, I'll meet this girl after I finish drinking. At this moment, Kinyan has already entered the room. With a crack, 1 person was knocked unconscious. A hypnotic device swiftly dealt with the bald man. At this moment, Kinyan looked at the remaining person and said helplessly, "This fool has saved me a blessing. How powerful is the formation set up by the elder Xianxia? Surprisingly, it allows the male lead's consciousness to freely roam the heart." Just as the man was about to act inappropriately, suddenly Kinyan poked his shoulder with a finger. At the moment the bearded man is about to turn his head, Kinyan struck him down to the ground with a punch. Kinyan stepped forward and draped his jacket over the beautiful woman. Just as the beauty was about to express her gratitude, Kinyan quickly reached out to stop it. He handed over 2 talismans and explained, "You placed binding talismans on both of them, then continued to pretend to be flirted with. I go to save someone." "All right." The beautiful woman responded with a reminder. "Each wooden house has an underground passage." The crowd deceived into doing hard labor. It's a hassle for the hero. "I understand. You can rest assured." Kinyan said this and quickly changed into another outfit. This took the beauty by surprise as well. Just as Kinyan was leaving, only the sound of a beautiful woman's cries came from inside the house. "Ah, don't do this anymore." Ate. In the blink of an eye, the person was rescued, and an old man said, "Thank you, hero, for saving us." The Blue West Palace is calling for warriors. They said children can go into the West Palace. Who knew they would trick us into coming here? Kinyan nodded and comforted. Everyone, don't worry. The large dog and the disciples of the Blue New Palace were all controlled. Everyone should leave as soon as possible. At this moment, the rescued beauty approached to express her gratitude. The hero's kindness is truly beyond repayment, although there aren't many top-quality zero iron ores. Take them all, hero. You confront the Blue West Palace. You need to be careful. They are truly malicious. Kinyan replied with a completely awkward expression. Everyone, be careful on the road. These people all stayed. I'll leave after I'm done. Additionally, this matter must be reported to Kiwindian. Only they can stand against it. The scene shifts to a luxurious residential area. Suddenly, someone shouted anxiously, Xiao Shikshin. It's not good. One of our premium iron ore deposits was destroyed. All the disciples guarding the mine were killed. The scene was engulfed in flames. Ting Baoziao Yanlong asked coldly, Who did it? The person guessed and replied, The initial suspicion is Princess Xiao Yume, since the miraculous realm was destroyed by the heavy rain. Xiao Yume seeks revenge on those around her master, Zhu Baiyan, for King Yun, an old minister with a good relationship with the Lord. In the mansion, skilled warriors are being assassinated, causing the nobles of the Xianxia Empire feeling anxious all day. Hearing this, Xiao Yanglong slammed his hand on the table in anger. Except for this dead girl. Who else is there? As the chief disciple of the Western Palace. We must catch him. Beside her, Xiao Xuanqin turned her head and thought. I originally came to plead for him. Result, Yu Mei is in grave danger this time. I need to find him first. In the blink of an eye, dusk has arrived. Kinyan squatted in one place, gazing at the distant mountain peaks and the stars. Grandma Kaio said, At night, standing in the south waiting for the North Star to appear, you can recognize the new spirit of the hidden soul, suddenly accompanied by the appearance of the North Star. Kinyan glanced at the secret passage. This is the mountain. Thinking of this, I flew towards the mountain peak. In the blink of an eye, Kinyan looked at the column of star constellations below. These pillars should be the town masters of the formation. There must be a spacious big town here, just because it hasn't been cleaned for many years, all covered in dust and various weeds. Then Kinyan transformed into the cleaner of nature. The weeding plan has started. In the blink of an eye, Kinyan sat in the center of the town's celestial formation. Brother Lengxiao is unfortunately in seclusion. He can't hear the compliments anymore. How long did it actually take him? Such a big town has just been set up. As Kinyan activated At this moment, Kinyan looked up at the astonished celestial phenomenon. The town is crazily absorbing the power of the stars. It's truly incredible. Just in time to cultivate and enhance the new Yang heart supper taught to me by my elder brother. Thus the new refining spirit operates. At this moment, Lan Xiao, who was recovering in the ring, praised. This kid is quite clever. In the blink of an eye, Kinyan observed the celestial phenomenon before him. This is actually a blue sun, releasing hot air. As Kinyan reached out and touched, he drilled in. A giant wolf appeared in front of me. Kinyan was suddenly startled and thought. Inside, there was actually a sleeping wolf. But I can't wake him up just with my consciousness. Let's go outside and take a look. At this moment, Kinyan's mind wandered as he thought. Why do I feel that the majority of the sun here is lifeless? The souls in the funeral home have either departed or passed away. In the night sky, There are many entities similar to the sun. It's just because the distance between us is too far. So what you see are just small light dots. I don't know about the 9 suns in our world. What is inside? Many suns are at least 2. There are also 3 or 4 of them. 5 or 6 is relatively few. They all revolve around each other. And I am familiar with Jiayang, but very rare. And it rises and falls simultaneously. Neither do they circle around each other. It seems the sinister array of the hidden soul is upon us. Allows one to enter the galaxy to find a suitable martial soul. At that moment, King Yan looked at the black sphere in front of her and thought, "This is the place." What did these girls see? Unexpectedly blushing and heart racing uncontrollably. As King Yan approaches, the stars in the sky are observed. The black sphere is very large, but compared to the entire spiral galaxy, it seems incredibly tiny. It's just a small dot in the center of the dial, but it can stir the galaxy to spiral and turn. The power of visibility is immense. At that moment, King Yan was suddenly wrapped in black gas. At this moment, my heart was filled with shock. Not good. If my consciousness is devoured, the one in power will forever lose consciousness. I absolutely cannot lose. No matter what you are, I will conquer you. As the body is gradually pulled into the black sphere. At this moment, the starry sky occasionally rumbles. In reality, King Yan is also enduring immense pain. Not sure how much time has passed. Lan Zio was busy preparing food. At this moment, King Yan woke up and looked at the questioner in confusion. What happened? At this moment, Lan Zio looked and complained. "Smelly kid, you slept for an entire month. 1 month. I have to show myself to protect your safety. Destroy my recovery retreat." Ting sighed. "I feel that this month I have grown pigeons again." Lan Zio handed over a bowl of soup and said, "You are still young. The body is not fully developed. First, have a little soup. If it weren't for my simultaneous approach of medication and food this past month, otherwise you'll grow pigeons." King Yan was filled with gratitude upon hearing this. "Thank you, big brother. That's right. Did I get a new martial soul? But in my heart I was thinking. Previously, my oscillating source was also a black sphere, but the surface has a shiny reflection, and not as dark as this." At that moment, Lan Zio pointed at him and said, "Your third martial soul is right here. It requires mental power to activate it. If using only mental power, or use the power of the Yuan Shen alone, no one can awaken this inner power." King Yan immediately became invigorated. He grabbed a nearby stone and said, "Elder brother, you look. Now I can make things lighter or heavier. For example, a stone weighing 100 jin. After being empowered by this force, it can become as heavy as 1,000 pounds. Or it weighs a pound." Lan Zio replied after listening. "As one's cultivation improves, it will continue to change. This is not just about making objects lighter or heavier. There are other attributes. If used to twist the surface of the body, as long as the incoming force is within the tolerable range." All were swallowed like stones sinking into the sea. King Yandong threw the stone away and said, "Elder brother is truly knowledgeable and experienced. I think if the external force further disrupts the internal energy, it's like having 2 layers of protection around me. Moreover, my 2 origins can also merge into one. Inner strength will be greatly enhanced." At that moment, Lan Zio explained, "This is based on the highest black sun martial soul. Just keep chuckling, you little brat. I have one more important thing to do. It will help you step into the 5 bodies and 7 layers. Now at the peak. can quickly shoot the Jiayang spiritual energy into the body, endlessly providing energy to Heiyang's internal source. Release the fire of the black sun through bone essence, poured into the bones. Go to temper the bones from within. This is the best time for breakthroughs. A rough estimate suggests it will take another month. This time, you should be able to handle it on your own. I am going into seclusion. King Yun was taken aback. Okay. After speaking, he sat down and began the breakthrough. A month passed in the blink of an eye. King Yun suddenly opened her eyes and looked at herself joyfully. Kai of muscles and bones, I have finally stepped into the realm of the 5 bodies and 7 layers. I just celebrated my 16th birthday. Suddenly, I was startled again by a message from Lan Zio beside me. King Yan, I saw the top-grade spiritual iron in your storage ring. You have likely stepped into the 7th layer. 300 pounds of top-quality spiritual iron. 300 jin of wicked beast bones. Put the ring into the furnace to be smelted. I will definitely forge a top-quality skeleton. After watching, I only saw King Yan unleash a flame that burned the message to ashes. No need to say more. I also want to add spirit patterns. Make the power of the top-tier bone hammer even stronger. A month passed, and a golden hammer was finally completed. At this moment, King Yan was covered in dirt, truly resembling a wild person. At this moment, King Yan regained her senses and felt the hidden path. I feel like my body is all smelly. I need to find a place to take a shower and change clothes. By the way, Zhao Yulan and Qin Yingfeng's engagement ceremony will be held in about 20 days. I'll just wash up a bit and head straight to Tianqing. It's better to change clothes on the way. The scene shifts to the city gate of Tianqing City. A few infatuated girls were chatting. Hello. Look at that person over there. So handsome. He has a great figure and is very popular. Oh my, is he looking over here? Who possesses such charm? It's surprising that several beautiful women are so infatuated. Of course, it's our handsome male lead, Qin Yun. At this moment, while walking, I think to myself, Night Queen, your son's engagement ceremony. I will definitely participate. At this moment, 2 people were talking by the roadside. In these past few months, disciple of the West Palace of the Blue Star Palace, the aristocratic sons of the Xianxia Empire, nearly 100 people were killed by Zhao Yuemei. It's all for that person named Qin Yun. These noble families, they are all those who have a good relationship with Zhao Yanglong. It's a pity if such a beauty were to die this time. Upon hearing this, Qin Yun was immediately startled. He hurriedly asked, Sorry to disturb you. I just heard this brother say that Zhao Yuemei is in danger. The man listened closely. Little brother, then you have asked the right person. At this moment, the beautiful girl next to him was swooning, struggling over the knife on the man's base. I'll speak. Zhao Yuemei offended Zhao Yanglong. It's already spread. Now, for reasons unknown, I have been brought back to Tianqing. Now, Zhao Yuemei has killed so many people and has been captured. It is highly likely to be sentenced to death. However, many people cheered for her. After all, those who were killed were all evil people. Qin Yun quickly stepped forward. Thank you. Thank you so much for telling me all this. She turned and left, thinking to herself. Zhao Yuemei was captured and was brought to Tianqing. It is obvious that there is another motive. It is very likely to pressure this sister, Zhao Yulan, have her cooperate obediently for the engagement. Zhao Yuemei possesses a mirror martial soul, but she mentioned on the way she could only not use her mirror martial soul. to copy her sister's powerful martial soul, can only replicate Xiao Yuelan's purple gold fire dragon martial soul and mental power martial soul. In other words, Xiao Yuelan has a third martial soul, and so powerful that her sister's mirror martial soul couldn't replicate it. The dragon martial spirit belongs to the beast spirit. The dragon is a celestial beast, so this should also be considered a gifted martial soul. Xiao Yuelan possesses a purple gold level heavenly gift martial soul, spiritual power martial soul. There is also a mysterious black martial soul. Did she gain such an extraordinary experience because of the hidden, fairy slaughtering materials? Xiao Malian's martial soul must be extraordinary as well. I hope she can hide it well. The scene shifts to Kiwin Mountain Manor. Grandpa Duan saw Kinyan excitedly shout. Duan Kayan was also taken aback. Suddenly excited, "Kinyan, you're still alive. You're one tough kid. Higher than before. It's sturdier than before." At this moment, Kinyan turned and asked, "Grandpa Duan, do you know about Xiao Yumei's situation? Yumei must have been watched closely. Can you find a few people to help me? Help me rescue her. I will definitely repay you in the future." After listening to Duan Kaienfu's words, I felt enlightened. Don't mention anything about repayment. Since the last time I escaped from the black-clad men and Qin Jingfeng's subordinates after the explosion, leave behind an old life. I have made up my mind to lend you a helping hand. After listening, Kinyan felt relieved and thought, "It's great that Grandpa Duan was able to escape death." At this moment, he continued to speak. "Recently, Zai Wufeng, selling the corpse of the vile beast to me. Exchange for gold coins. We need to rescue Xiao Yumei, this girl. These wealthy individuals can be of assistance. I arranged to meet Zai Wufeng and the others here tonight, without unexpected events. When it gets dark, the people I sent out to investigate will be back. Then we will know the details of Xiao Yumei's detention." Hearing this, Kinyan took out his money bag excitedly. "Great, Grandpa Duan! Please have Grandpa Duan deliver this bag of purple coins to them. Consider this a repayment for helping me out." At this moment, a reminder was given. "Kinyan, among those guarding Xiao Yumei, there will definitely be 5 mirrors. Compared to your current strength, at that time I will be constrained by my identity. But I can't make a move either. But I will provide clues for you. I will help you create a comprehensive plan." Kinyan nodded in response. Yumei is actually a very nice person. She impulsively killed so many people. It has a lot to do with me. I survived purely by luck. This time I must save her. Duan Kaim thought to himself, "This child is truly a person of deep feelings and loyalty." He then instructed, "You need to be ready to face the challenges from all sides. They will definitely associate you with the love soul maniac. Now you go rest in the store. Wait for my news." In the blink of an eye, Kinyan lay on the bed, fainting, back to this familiar apartment again. Suddenly, a knocking sound echoed at the door. Just as Kinyan opened the door to inquire about the source of identity, the old man with the white beard said, "Nothing needs to be said. Please follow me." The scene shifts. At this moment, Kinyan arrived at a food establishment. A red-haired beauty greeted, "Hello, I am Meng Feilin." Meng Feilin. Kinyan was taken aback, and then thought to himself, "Wasn't this the disguise that Yulan used before? What to do when you encounter a clingy beauty? Being angry doesn't seem to help." Seeing Kinyan call out his name, Monferlin leaned in and asked, "Can you hear me? I have some acquaintance with Yu Mei and Yu Lan. This time, it just so happened that Lao Zai and the others came to help me. I just came here. Huh? Aren't you welcome? Facing the enthusiasm of Meng Fei Lin, Qin Yun replied awkwardly, "No way. Having a master like you with 5 elements and 7 layers joining us, I'm still too happy to catch my breath." At that moment, a few more people walked in. At this moment, Zai Wufeng greeted. "Hello, Qin Yun. I am Zai Wufeng. These two are Huo Zhang and Lord Murong. Your business." "We all know." Qin Yun replied politely upon seeing the guest. "Take off Grandpa's outfit. It's great to meet you brothers and share about Yu Mei. I am very grateful to you all." Hearing this, Zai Wufeng replied, "You're welcome. We are all acquainted with Zio Yuemei. Taking action is only a matter of time. Yan Liadi, do not make your existence known for now. If you want to attend that engagement banquet, no problem. We still have people arranged to protect you. Can make you feel safer." Upon hearing this, Meng Phelan hugged Qin Yun in agreement. "Yes, yes, yes. There is also the Grand Elder of the Kuwen Hall. He learned of your death back then. It's also very sad. And Murong also spoke to the fan. I checked it. During the engagement banquet, they will all come." At this moment, Zai Wufeng asked, "Yan Leadi, you have cultivated golden bones." Stepping into the 5 bodies and 7 layers, Qin Yun was shocked upon hearing this. "Even Lion, Mingfei can't discern my true abilities." But Zai Wufeng could easily see through it at a glance. He smiled and nodded in response. Barely made it through." Upon hearing this, the only one present who wasn't completely overwhelmed, Murong, smiled wryly. "This is great. We have 3 Wu Tai Kai Chong here. Rescuing Zio Yuemei will definitely go more smoothly." At that moment, Duin Kaiyan walked over and said, "Zio Yuemei was locked in the Zio Yu Tower on Zio Yushan. This villa is located in the northwest of Tianqing de Cheng, about 10,000 meters away from here. The location is very advantageous for us." Unexpectedly, at Zio Yu Mountain Villa, Zai Wufeng exclaimed in surprise, "I thought Zio Yuemei was locked inside Xianxia Tower. Tianzio Lu is the largest hotel resort in the Tianzio Empire. Extremely huge. Biankeo and Zio Yushin Manor." At this moment, he took out the map and said, "You all take a look. Zio Yu Mountain Manor has few people. Good looks are important. But there were too many people coming in and out of Xianxiao Tower, not conducive to guarding. Especially during this time, members of the Xianxia royal family are inside Xianxiao Tower, welcoming visits from other prominent families. The people coming and going became even more complicated. The areas marked in red on the map are all watchtowers. It seems this was the residence of the Xianxia royal family members when they came here to visit. But actually, this is the reconnaissance division set up by the Xianxia Empire in Tianjin City, mainly used for gathering various information. At the same time, it has storage capabilities, used to store various items for illicit transactions. It was originally heavily guarded. As far as I know, at least 1 Wudao mirror is stationed inside. There are still several intangible 9 layers. There are a dozen or so people guarding the watchtower. Among them, Zio Yu's defense is the most rigorous. There were as many as 7 people. Listen, Meng Phelan didn't care. "It's nothing. I should be able to fly in easily." Zai Wufeng turned to ask, "Yan Leadi, how's your infiltration ability? Are you confident?" Qin Yun comforted, "Don't worry. Definitely no problem. But in my heart I was thinking, as long as we make use of the Black Sun martial soul, It allows me to perfectly blend into the darkness at night. All right. Zai Wufeng pondered. I'll go in with Sister Mengsu first, responsible for luring away Wuti Jiechong and other minor fish. Murong and Huo Leiasin were responsible for placing fire talismans near Zio Yushin Manor, burning several important warehouses inside, to draw a portion of people away to extinguish the fire. At that moment, Qin Yan asked in confusion, "How should we deal with that five-door mirror?" Yet in my heart I was astonished and thought, I didn't expect that old Saichu was not only calm, also knows how to be flexible and adaptable, utilize each person's strengths. This friend is worth making. You can use soul-shaking powder. Only listen to the words of the past. I have inquired. Inside the Linging building of the Tianjin Empire, there is a hidden black stone. There will be an auction there, filming the soul-dispersing dance. Upon hearing this, Qin Yan exclaimed in shock. Yao Han-san is a top-tier spiritual elixir, as long as you are sprinkled with this powder. Those who enter the five mirrors will lose their souls, being manipulated by others. It is a banned substance. I didn't expect that. I can't believe there are still people daring enough to sell soul-shaking powder. At this moment, Duan Cayenne explained. Actually, this underground black stone is from our curiosity shop. There are 5 days until the auction. A lot of gold coins will be needed by then, but I will try my best to help you all. Hearing this, Qin Yan turned to leave. I'm going to create mid-level hypnotic and binding garments now, to face stronger dancers. Then he looked at Meng Fei Lin with a face full of disdain. All right, all right. Don't cling to me any more, big sister. I won't, I just won't. The beautiful woman rubbed against the male lead as soon as she saw him. Special hobby. 5 days later. Not good. Fingertips break ahead. Jioji walked in anxiously and said, "The person selling the soul-shaking powder suddenly decided not to sell. Maybe he is worried about getting caught. Now it's difficult." At that moment, Meng Phelan walked over and said, "It's good that you didn't buy it. This is a game. Someone wants to sell soul-calling powder through the black stone of the curiosity shop. Then use this to deal with the oddities shop." Qin Yan sat down and asked, "Sister Phelan, how did you know?" Meng Phelan plopped down on Qin Yan and explained, "The creator of the soul-dispersing elixir. We have some ties to the Meng family. My father and grandfather are now in the underground city. I happened to overhear them talking. They also seem to have just discovered this conspiracy." Qin Yan suddenly felt awkward and thought to himself, "The older sister is here again." After listening, Duan Cayenne exclaimed in astonishment, "Someone actually wants to come to our curiosity shop. This is mostly related to the Blue Star Palace's fine palace. I will go back now and send someone to investigate thoroughly." Watching the departure of Duan Cayenne, at this moment Meng Fei Lin quietly said, "Zio Yan, I'll let you in on a secret. I know roughly who holds the soul-dispersing powder. However, Chief Duan will never let us take reckless risks. That's why I didn't say it in front of him." After listening, Qin Yan asked excitedly, "In whose hands?" "We must get it." At this moment, Meng Phelan explained, "My grandfather told me the soul disperses in the hands of a young woman, has the strength of 5 bodies and 9 layers. Once again, they hold a high position in the Xianxia Tower. Only Zio Xuanqin remains. It is said that Zio Xuanqin gathered all the materials needed to refine the soul-shaking powder. Request that person for help with the alchemy." At this moment, Murong laughed and asked, What does he need the soul-scattering powder for? Qin Yan was suddenly startled, thinking to himself, when the sky was a wondrous realm. Zio Xuanqin and several others were involved. Maybe they planned to use the soul-shaking powder on Kaio Ruin, inquire about the soul-refining technique. At that moment, Zai Wufeng put down his cup and said, "We could never achieve this through normal means," took the soul-shaking powder from Zio Xuanqin's hands. "Why not go steal tonight? Although the odds are slim. But it doesn't hurt to give it a try." "Good," Qin Yan exclaimed excitedly. "Let's get ready to act now. Then I will transmit the talisman I made myself. Everyone has received their share." At this moment Zai Wufeng assigned tasks. "Meng Zuji, you should be able to handle those guard towers without any problem." Yan Liadi and I entered the Tower of Laughter. Meng Failing held the talisman in both hands. With so many talismans in hand. "No problem." Zai Wufeng stood up again and instructed. "Mu Rong and Huo Lao San, you are responsible for burning down the warehouse. Items stored in the warehouse. Very important for the people of Zaiyu Mountain Villa. They will definitely go to put out the fire first." After listening, Qin Yan reminded, "This cannot be let known to Grand Paduan. After we discuss the detailed action plan, leave the Hall of Curiosities as soon as possible. There are many strong practitioners of the 5 paths in Zaiyu Mountain Villa. Everyone must be cautious in their actions." The scene shifts to Zaiyu Mountain Villa. Qin Yan and the others were all ready. As Qin Yan gestured for them to split up and act separately, suddenly several people vanished in a flash. As Qin Yan and Zai Wufeng delved deeper, in the blink of an eye, the two arrived at the Laughing Tower, looking at the people on the burning tower, easily resolved by Meng Failing using a talisman. Before long, the burning tower was completely taken down. At this moment, Qin Yan reached out to feel his thoughts. First, use mental power to probe the situation inside. He immediately spoke to Zai Wufeng. "There is no one on the first floor. There are no mechanisms either. If I accidentally make a noise later on," I immediately used my mental power to block the sound. As the two entered the laughter tower, "There is nothing on the first level." In the blink of an eye, Zai Wufeng sighed as he looked on. "I thought the laughter tower was just a warehouse. It will store many valuable items." As a result, the second level was still empty. As the two continued to climb, there is nothing on the third or fourth floors either. At that moment, an old man suddenly appeared. "Who goes there?" At that moment, the two were suddenly startled and exchanged glances in silence. "Have you been discovered?" Suddenly, Qin Yan unleashed various types of radiation. At the same time, Zai Wufeng summoned his life-bound arrow, immediately rushed over to remind. "Quickly release your mental energy. The old man under attack is bracing himself, heart racing. Oh no, I just underestimated these two young punks." At that moment, Zai Wufeng flew past Qin Yan. With a swift motion, he appeared behind the old man. In the old man's terrified gaze, the sword energy pierced through the old man's chest. At this moment, Qin Yan's heart raced. Lao Zai's movements are so quick, can kill a ninefold warrior in an instant. Zai Wufeng's strength is indeed not to be underestimated. These guys are actually plotting to dig up someone's ancestral grave. What's going on? As the old man was dealt with, only then did Zai Wufeng speak. "Yan Liadi, we are late. Yu Mei has already been transferred. It should have been not long ago." Suddenly, a key appeared in front of me, just as Zai Wufeng reached out to grab it. Suddenly, Qin Yan grabbed his wrist and reminded him, "Be careful. This is a formation." In the blink of an eye, Qin Yun swung the giant spirit king hammer and smashed it down. Suddenly smashed the table in half. At the same time, the entire tower emitted a rumbling sound and shook continuously. At this moment, Qin Yun's expression was fierce as he thought. Finished. It shouldn't have been smashed like that. Once again, Zai Wufeng picked up the key. With a swift strike, the tower was pierced. The tower is going to collapse. We need to hurry and leave. As the two left. At this moment, the people on the ground also noticed them. Someone has broken in. Look up. At that moment, someone suddenly ran over and shouted, "It's not good. A fire has broken out. A fire has broken out. The warehouse is on fire." Only one person was seen directing the intersection. The items in the warehouse are very important. Every one must put out the fire immediately. The intruder can be chased away by just 2 or 3 people. As Qin Yun and Zai Wufeng flee ahead, the 3 people behind are relentlessly pursuing. Suddenly, Qin Yun started to swipe rapidly. He shot a few knives at the people behind him. Suddenly, several people let out a cry of despair. "Damn it!" Unknowingly, a long time passed. Qin Yun just looked and said, "Great, they didn't catch up." Suddenly, Duan Kain glared angrily and accused, "You guys, it's really absurd." At this moment, Qin Yun replied awkwardly, "Didn't we avoid any problems?" "Right, Grandpa Duan. I have no idea where it was transferred to. Can you help us check? You must listen to this segment with astonishment. It has actually been transferred. It's good that we moved. Otherwise, the Laughter Tower will surely have 5 mirrors on guard. You might not come back. I can go check. But you must not cause any more trouble. We need to save him now. It's probably harder than reaching the sky. You startled the snake in the grass. Maybe I can't even find out where he is." Feeling angry, they left. In the blink of an eye, a few people were gathered together. Zai Wufeng took out the key and said, "Lopekyu, this key is placed within the Zioyu Tower. There are still guards watching. It definitely won't be easy." Qin Yun looked on in agreement. Not only that, this key is still placed on a table engraved with souls. It seems to be gathering energy for him. At that moment, Meng Phelan suddenly lay on the bed and exclaimed excitedly, "Wow, your room is quite cozy." This left Qin Yun utterly speechless. "Come down for me." At this moment, Meng Phelan lay sideways on the bed and said, "My grandfather once mentioned, Zioyu Mountain Villa is a shady place. It is perpetually cold and gloomy. It's very suitable for storing monster meat and such." Listening to the crab's guesses without any wind. The key to gather the negative energy. It should be used to open the tomb. Is this the key to open the gate of heavenly roar and earth's spirit? At that moment, Huo Zhongwen suddenly had a realization. Tian Zio Dai Ling. That is the place where the calamity of the Xianxia Empire was buried. Can be buried within the earth's spirit. Not a member of the royal family. He was someone who had made significant contributions to the Xianxia Empire. Hearing Bom Nurong's summer agreement, the tyrant dragon of the Xianxia Empire is so despicable. How about we dig up his ancestral grave? This remark made everyone burst into laughter. However, Zai Wufeng was cautious. However, this matter requires careful consideration. We first need to determine if this key can unlock the heavenly howl and earth spirit, and must possess at least the strength of the 5 elements and 8 layers. Once the Xianxia Empire discovers that such an important key is missing, they will definitely send more powerful warriors to guard the earth spirit. Ting Ba Mingfei hurriedly approached Qin Yun and said, "The Tianzio Empire lost such a precious key. Surely they won't make it public everywhere. This is really embarrassing. That manager won't know the key is in our hands." To avoid being lectured by him again, Qin was immediately astonished and thought to himself, "If Grandpa Duen knew we were going to dig up the ancestral grave of the Xianxia Empire, surely the mustache will be crooked from anger." At this moment Zai Wufeng analyzed. Since Zioyu Mountain Villa doesn't have, Zio Yume has most likely been transferred to the Xianxiao Tower in Xianxiao Mountain Manor. On weekdays, anyone can come and go from this Xianxiao Villa, enter Xianxiao Tower for drinks, food, or to stay. But during this time, access to Xianxiao Villa has been restricted. Need 1,000,000 gold coins. Hearing Ba Qinyan's self-recommend. No problem. Waiting for the night, I'll go in and take a look. But in my heart I was thinking, I can blend into the darkness at night. It's relatively easy to infiltrate. Moreover, I can see the trap formations. At this moment, Meng Failing pulled Qinyan away. "Let's go. I give you a container to avoid being discovered by the masters of Xianxiao Tower that you are still alive." Can you believe that this beautiful woman is actually the male lead in disguise? The scene shifts.